The number one thing that you want to keep in mind when you are wanting to make thin hair look thick is you need to cut it with a blunt line. A blunt line or a very shallow point cut. And I'll show you kind of what those mimic. I'm going to do a blunt line over here on this side and then a very shallow point cut over here on this side. But before we get into that, this is the mannequin head it originally came as. You can see how thick that is. Like, you can't really see through a lot of that hair. What I did is this is the same mannequin. I've actually just thinned out and I took about 70% of that hair out. And you can actually see how you can kind of see through. You can see my hand right through there. So this is what we're going to be cutting. Now that I've actually wet it down, it even looks a lot more thin. So knowing that we could actually take this in itself. Now I could bring this length up to about right here, but I'm just going to show you and I'm going to bring this about halfway where it is right now. This is where the bottom length is right here. I'm going to bring it up to about this point right there. And I'm going to show you how much thicker it looks just by doing that. Now over here on this side, I'm going to do just a very shallow point cut. Now as I kind of shake through this and we kind of look at this already, you can already start to see that just that structure of what we did on that bottom portion already makes it look a lot thicker. So just that little tip right there, okay, is now when it comes down to even cutting your layers, cutting that length, cutting that fringe, a very, very blunt fringe will make your hair look a lot thicker. It'll give it gives this illusion that it just looks thicker, because now it's like you have a structured line along that bottom, and wherever you choose to put that, you know, of course, the closer you cut it to where the hair grows out, the thicker it's going to look. That's just a given, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. That right there in itself is something that will save or make your hair look a lot thicker. Now I'm going to actually go ahead and get this dry. One of the things I would avoid making it as flat as possible. The hair just collapses on top of itself. It just looks thin. You want to build some volume into it when it comes down to styling. Anything that's going to add texture and it's going to lift that hair up and off that scalp area. Look how amazing that this actually looks just by doing that one simple thing, blunting off that bottom portion. You're just giving the illusion that it's a lot fuller than it is by creating this structured line along that bottom portion. It just gives it that thickness, which everybody wants. With this tip and trick, take this into your hairdresser. If you've got finer texture, thinner hair, and again, you're holding on to some length, bring that length up. It'll make it that much thicker. I just want to make it to where you guys have the best hair possible. I hope this tip and trick is going to make it to where you have better hair. If you have thinner hair, try doing a blunt cut. Honestly, it's going to help save your hair and make it look the thickest possible. Again, I want to thank you guys for just checking out my channel. My name is Jake Thompson Hair. Thanks for tuning in, guys. In the next edition of The Ugly Truth About Thinning Hair, we're going to be coloring this exact mannequin to even make it, to add a little bit more dimension, things you can take into your hairdresser to make it to where your hair is even that much more amazing. So be sure and check that out.